Today we are going to learn how to paint Hellsbane from Massive Darkness.
That the entirety of the cosmos is accessible through each and every individual's mind, connecting to the great mind, the great spirit.
Welcome back to the channel, collectors. So in the previous video of Understanding OSL, I've already described my thoughts and processes of creating an object source lighting. In this Hellsbane tutorial, I'm going to show you guys the colors which I used to create this Hellsbane and how a warm object source lighting is very interesting to create. I referenced a lot of Diablo 3 art and I want to recreate that effect in 3D. So I hope you guys follow along. So if you're ready, let us begin. Alright, welcome to yet another painting tutorial. Today we'll be focusing on painting the Hellsbane from Massive Darkness. The main lesson for today is for us to be able to paint with convincing fire object source lighting regardless of miniature. Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to base coat the entire miniature using a dark green. You may use this dark green in the areas around the fire so that you can provide some degree of contrast, which makes the object source lighting, which I'm planning from the chest, to make it look a lot more hot and to make it look a lot more bright. Okay, so this is the base coat done. So I'm gonna be mixing 3 colors for base layers. So they are progressively moving from a red brown to a more red than brown. Okay, so these base colors are what I call the areas of influence. This area of influence will show the color temperature change as the heat progresses to the object source lighting. Do take note that we are trying this content format, and we will be putting either one on Patreon and one on Facebook. So do let us know which would you prefer to see on YouTube. Will you rather see the full painting tutorial, or will you rather see me explain how I do this on YouTube? So right now I'm placing in the area of influence. You can use fine oxide for this. However, for the purposes of people who use Chimera like me, I've used Chimera red mixed in with a little bit of raw umber. So at this point of time, you don't want to focus on the shapes of the miniature, you just rather want to focus on the area. Okay, so this is base layer 1 done, and soon we'll move to base layer, the next base layer, which is more red and less brown. Okay, so at this stage I'm going to focus a little bit on the form of the miniature near the extremities. However, towards the middle I'm still just plotting it as an area effect. As you guys can see, I'm not paying too much attention to the form of the miniature yet. However, in the extremities, I am paying more attention. This is clearly evident in the thighs of the miniature. Okay, moving on to the next base layer. This color to me is where the red area is hit by the light. So this is more like the red edge highlights of the area. So this color, I use it to illustrate the form of the extremities. from the chest light. So this allows the viewer to identify the shapes around the lighting. Alright, so this is the effect. So moving on, we'll be creating midtones. So the midtones will be in orange, moving from red orange to pure orange. For the people who are following me using camera, I'm using orange mixed in with a bit of red. In the highlights, I'm adding in a little bit of Joe Sonia flash tone and adding in a little bit of scale 75 fluorescent orange. Alright, so as you guys can see, I'm placing in the orange very prominently into the middle part where the object source lighting is happening. This is the midtone where you will showcase the strength and color and the temperature of the object source lighting most prominently. Orange is also the color which is most strongly associated with warm, the warm temperature. You can always have cool reds, you can always have cool yellows, but you will find it very hard to find a cool orange. So in my opinion, orange is the color that will illustrate the temperature the most. So that's why I'm using orange most predominantly. So going to the second midtone. Again, I'm focusing more towards the middle. And I'm also using this color to top off some of the edge highlights to make the edge highlights even more fine. Okay, so moving on to the next midtone, I'm going to be even more selective, just focusing on the middle area and just a bit out of it, and that's it. You note that you can always go back to the base layers and use them to blend the colors down. So I'm moving more from orange yellow to a pure yellow, which is going to be very pale in the middle. So now I'm starting to define where the source light is coming from, which is the middle. As you guys can see, I'm very selectively placing where the object source light will be. Moving on. right now I'm going to focus only on the area where it's the hottest and no light source and no moving out of the light source. I'm also going to use this as an edge highlight. I find that this allows the object source lighting to look a lot more convincing as such. So this is where I place the object source lighting, dotting the mouth, dotting the eyes, and dotting the middle of the gem. Just picking up some of the highlights, and this should be the object source lighting. As you guys can see, it creates a very convincing look. So right now we're going to be focusing on the outside of the object source lighting to provide some contrast. I'm going to use a range of paints that will mimic GW paints. So I'm going to be using the Fang to Finalizing gray. Okay. So this blue lighting, this blue colors, do take note, the values are at best mid-tone values, so they do not exceed the object source lighting, which will break the effect. You don't want what I'm trying to create is I'm trying to create a cool atmosphere around the area to make the object source lighting look even more warm. Alright, so moving on to the second midtone, and last, just a touch of this to do a bit of edge highlighting. There we have it, Hellsbane complete. I'm just going to furnish the model with a little bit of white edge highlighting. And finish up the base with this pentagram. So the pentagram, I applied the same lightings as I did previously for the object source lighting, and you guys can just follow the lightings there. So I hope you found this video useful. Remember, if you could right now, check the subscribe button and smash it through, because it helps us a lot. And I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you can afford it, I hope you become a patron, keep us going, and I hope that you guys have a good painting day. See you guys in just a little bit. So, what do you think about the Hellsbane tutorial? Let me know in the comments below. I hope it was useful for you, because in the future, we will either be putting the explanation tutorial onto Patreon or the tutorial video onto Patreon. So let us know which one you prefer to be on YouTube. Alright? So you guys know the drill, like, subscribe and all the other stuff, because we post videos every day and I don't want you to miss out, and I hope that we become better miniature painters together. If you can afford it, become a $2 Patreon, because it really helps the channel grow and it keeps us producing awesome content like this. I'd like to thank my patrons for allowing me to do this, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. See you!